Good evening, everyone. So we're still waiting for a couple of other people to join, and we'll be starting in 2 to 5 minutes.
Hi, प्रियांश
Hi.
वीडियो बंद રાખો છો.
Perfect. I think most of the people have joined, so we'll just begin in a minute. All right. I think let's begin. So today we are going to talk about youth in cardiovascular health and why are we here? Why did we form the World Youth Heart Federation? And what are we planning to do? And how did it all come along? So I would like to start with this by, by a journey of a young kid and a journey which all of you might have experienced in your childhood, because I'm assuming all of us are youth out here. It might not be in the distant past. So when we start imagining when we were little kids, there was a time where we wanted to be, policemen. We wanted to be scientists. We wanted to be Batman. Well, we still want to be Batman, but well, that's something that we accept with time, and that's something that we learn with time. That these are some things I'm considering Batman, which is not possible. But at the same time, when you look at the core concept, why did we want to become Batman? Why did we want to become a scientist? Why did we want to become a policeman? Because at a very young age, what we were taught was a policeman does social good. A policeman catches thieves and saves the society. So there is this factor of social impact which is embedded in all of us from the very initial days of our lives. And with that, we become a little older and we start having new ideas. We start having new plans for the future. And at that time, I'd say that this kid is full of ideas. That kid goes to their parents every other day with a new idea. Dad, I think this is a great idea. I think we could do this. This probably would change the world. This probably has never been done before. And to all those answers, I think a lot of us would have received this thing from our parents or from our friends or family. Well, this has already been done, so you better not try doing it, and you better focus your energy on studying, which probably everyone is. So the thing here is, what we had to understand is that everything that you'll probably think of is out there, is there in the world. Uh, let's just take an example of light. Uh, what if Albert Einstein's parents had told them that, boy, we already have candles. We don't need a bulb. Uh, I'm sorry, Edison. What if Edison's parents had told him that, we already have candle, we don't need a bulb? And would he have stopped? I don't think so, because it is improvement. That is something that we're heading. So it is the approach which has to change rather than the idea. The whole concept of work and the activities that we can do is going to remain same more or less, but it's the approach that we have to find. With this young kid, so I'd say this young kid has learned a lot of lessons, but I'm just focusing on a few which all of you would be able to relate to, and a few which are important to our talk today. So as I said, this kid also wanted to become a scientist, and in a science fair project, he'd worked on this science experiment, and and they were there at the presentation table. There was a team of 3 to 4 people, and this little kid had worked and made the entire presentation. One of the judges came there and asked the kid that, you know, this is pretty impressive. Who made this? The kid replied, I made this. And the grin on the face of that judge, that it's, probably gave that kid a huge lecture that it's never you who does things, it's your team. Sometimes you might not be able to see the efforts that they've put in. You might, well, if you're making a car, well, you might just have put in the wheels, but there's an entire body which might have come from different parts. That is when, this kid learned the importance of a team. And that is probably a lesson that all of us have to learn at some point or other, because honestly, there is no I in this world. It's always we. So with these few lessons, the kids started growing and experiencing new things. And as I mentioned earlier, it's always the approach. So to get that approach, what you need is experience. What you need is to work on many different ideas, is to work on many different things. And, let me make it clear, these are not the things that are probably socially acceptable or academically acceptable, but these are the things which make you happy. These are the things which give you an adrenaline rush. So just like that, this kid started working on these ideas, gaining more and more experience. And with this, we'll start with 3 main ideas that our federation is working on. So the first one is, I'll say, youth. This is a very interesting quote that I've found is, uh, Margaret had not mentioned youth. I have added youth in this quote, but adding youth, adding young people made a lot of difference. It reads as, never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed young people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So this is a quote which actually gave me thrills and chills. And it is so important to understand that we as the youth are the future of the society. And we as the youth are the people who are responsible for our future. But often what I see everywhere, right from top advocacy places to, let's say, any other event, is that we get intimidated by age. This person might be 60 years old. He would have a lot of experience. He would be so much smarter than me. Well, I think that is where all of us are wrong. I do agree that those people have lived more years, but what we have to understand is experience in a particular direction matters. Wisdom in a particular direction matters. Your ideas in a particular direction matter. It might be that that person might have lived 60 years and stumbled on different ideas and might be working on something what that person is just for the past couple of years. That is even possible at this age. But what makes youth different? We can get the experience. We are responsible, because I believe that a lot of young leaders that we see out here, we do take responsibility of our actions. We do take responsibility of our planet. What is one thing which is different in us? And I'd say that is passion, flexibility, and creativeness. This is something that you have right now. And I wouldn't say trust me, but this is what I've heard, that with age, you become less flexible, less creative, and you then have a concrete set of ideas based on your experiences. And you're not so, pro change. So this is a time that we have to mold ourselves, that we have to understand our responsibility as the youth and take action. The next part is bridging the silos. So as you know, I just give a very basic example. If we had asked our parents that, what were the career options then? What did you want to become? Uh, you'd probably get the common answers, either a doctor, engineer, or an architect, because these were probably only two, three fields which people thought were socially acceptable and were something that a child must pursue. But ask yourself, if you ask that question to a 10-year-old kid today, would those answers be the same? Uh, I hope you think it's negative, because today there are so many opportunities, there are so many subspecialties, there are so many different areas that we could work on. And what has this done? This has built up more silos. More silos is more people working in a specific field, working in different specific fields. Now let's just take an example of a 50-year, a 50-year young field of cardiothoracic surgery. It is just 50 years young, and there are already so many subspecialties which are coming up. Currently, if you look at, the surgeons out there, the cardiothoracic surgeons out there, most of them refer to themselves as cardiac surgeons. We do all kinds of surgery. But now, if you look at the trend, there are pediatric cardiac surgeons. There are cardiac surgeons who specifically focus on AFib. There are cardiac surgeons who, just focus on cabbages. So this again is building more silos, is making people, separate from others. I see this as an opportunity and as a threat. An opportunity because people now have deeper knowledge, much deeper knowledge about their fields, about their specific subject, which is amazing. But at the same time, they have an air, they have a feeling of accomplishment, that they are, different from the crowd. They've done something different, and this is how I'd like to stay. But what we have to do here as youth is bridge all these silos, connect all of these people together. I just gave an example of cardiothoracic surgery in different parts, but at the same time, you can have 10 such examples in engineering. Now, with bridging the silos, we want to focus on intersectoral collaboration. And mind you, it is intersectoral collaboration and not interdisciplinary collaboration. We don't want, let's say, skin doctors and heart doctors to work together. That definitely is a part, but that is a small part. What we are planning is the healthcare sector, the engineering sector, the construction sector. All the sectors that you could possibly think of can come together and work on a common goal. That is cardiovascular health. I wouldn't want to throw random numbers at you. All of you know the importance of cardiovascular health. So maybe let's just do a small exercise. I would ask you to close your eyes and think of one or two people in your family who may be succumbed to a cardiovascular disease or currently is living with a cardiovascular disease. This can include anything ranging from hypertension to heart attack to someone who's living with a stent placed or has a surgery done. I just wait here for 10 seconds and let all of you think. Please do this exercise and think about that person in your life. It could be anyone who is living or has succumbed to a cardiovascular disease. That is exactly what that young kid felt. That young kid lost both his grandparents to cardiovascular diseases. And that is not a very uncommon story. That is something what you see everywhere, which I feel in the last 10 seconds, you would have thought of some names, you would have thought of some people living with these cardiovascular problems. So it is not saying that it would be wrong to say that it causes so and so deaths in the world. It affects so and so many number people, so many number of people in the world. That is there, but what we have to connect to is the people in our community, the people we've actually seen suffering from these diseases. And that is exactly why we combined all three of these things, which is youth, intersectoral collaboration, and cardiovascular health, to form the World Youth Heart Federation. Now, the birth of World Youth Heart Federation, you might think that, these were easy things. These were straightforward things. In fact, when I look at them, they seem like these were some things which were glaring at my face ever since I started, my college. But these are things that you understand and you feel the importance with various experiences. So I'd just like you to walk through this little journey of that same kid that we started off with. The first thing that the kid started off with was building, their own startup. And luckily or unluckily, that startup failed miserably. In fact, the team split after a year and they didn't even cross the beta testing model. But what they learned out of it was, again, cannot stress enough the importance of team. And secondly, how important is the area that you're working in? Do other people connect to that area? Is it something which is needed, or is it something which you're just doing out of your fancy? So these are some important questions which had to be answered by them. Then came a small event where, that person worked with people from various other fields. And I'd say that is when, he realized the importance of intersectoral collaboration. Because when you're in your college, when you're in your university, you're in a closed space. Something which, my dad often used to say, keep saying, in fact, is you're like a frog in a well. You haven't seen the world. And in fact, I do understand that now, that at that, I still probably have just leapt to half the well. I'd say I still haven't seen the world, I'd say. But there's so much to explore. There's so much to know. And the more you know, you feel the lesser you know. I hope that makes sense. So coming back to TEDx, so that is when, the importance of intersectoral collaboration came into place. With that, this smart fellow, again ventured to this new idea, trying to launch something new where he wanted to promote intersectoral collaboration. But apparently that didn't work out again. And there were a few more failures which came in the way. And then probably let's just jump to pre-COVID period, where he was at home and all he had to do was think, lay down in his bed and ponder. And this is where I'd like to stress the importance of our subconscious, that, people keep saying that, I'm proud that I've failed. I have learned from, when I've failed. But when you actually fail, you feel miserable. I stay in my room for a week when there's a huge failure which comes in me. And it's very hard to accept. But that is a time when you cross, and when you look back at it and when you reflect is when you understand the mistakes that you make. It's said that you'll be dumb if you fail once and make the same mistake again. So it is, at the same time, it's very important to take time to yourself and reflect on the ideas that you have, on the work that you're doing. And that is where International Youth Heart Association came into picture. And he pitched this idea to his friends and family. And it probably shot off. People connected with the idea because of the things that we've mentioned earlier. People started working on the idea. And then the journey began, I'd say. So this was a pre-journey, and after this, the journey of World Youth Heart Federation began, which included creating the logo, finalizing the name, forming a team, and then starting to work on these areas, which, by being said, just are single words, simple words, but in reality, they took in a lot of effort and time. And I'm glad to have such a wonderful team with me. So after all this, that I've mentioned earlier, what exactly is World Youth Heart Federation? So in a single line, it's a social enterprise which will amalgamate the youth to improve cardiovascular health of the society and promote intersectoral collaboration. This federation has 5 working committees, which goes with the acronym of HEART. So H stands for health education, E stands for entrepreneurship, A for advocacy, R for research, and T for technology. Now, how did it fit in so perfectly? I'm still not sure, but let's just go to what each committee works on. So the Health Education Committee works on creating quality education for patients and students. It is important in today's world, we feel that it's important to create education for patients in their regional and local languages so that they are aware what they're suffering from and they don't go to Dr. Google, which probably will give them the diagnosis of cancer in any symptom that they type. So it's important to have valuable and quality education videos specifically for heart attack, because it is something, for one, which is preventable, and two, if identified early, the person could be saved. So that is the importance of education. And we will also be working on various other courses in the long run. Then coming to entrepreneurship and technology. Let's take entrepreneurship and technology together. So these are 2 things which specifically, would be a place where you could meet new people, where you could meet people from different fields. So here, currently, what we're working on is capacity building. Is we're working on workshops. We're working on educating our youth on different types of entrepreneurship ideas and technologies which are out there. And along with time, which is probably 2-3 months down the line, we would be having an accelerator program where we would be making groups of people. We would be helping you out with teams of people from different fields, which is the entire idea behind it. And with that, you can probably work on your idea and take your startup or your technology ahead. In this, one very important thing which would be there is a mentor network. So here we would be starting a network wherein we'll have experienced people from various fields who can help you guide in your process of your of starting a startup or having a technology, because I think that is what the millennial generation wants. That is something which excites the millennial generation, and we need mentors for that. We cannot do everything on our own. We need a team and good set of mentors for that. So that is exactly what we're planning to do. Then coming to advocacy. So in advocacy, we would be having 3 tiers. In the first tier, we would be working on awareness campaigns and awareness sessions where we'd be reaching out to the community, which is limited to the online option right now because of COVID. But soon after COVID, we plan to, take on the field work and, reach out to people, help people who actually need it. And the second level would be advocating to targeted stakeholders having a particular problem. For example, if it's, let's say, congenital heart disease, then we would be targeting pregnant mothers. Then the third final step would be policy making, which is, probably the biggest level of advocacy, we'd say, is impacting the decisions of the big stakeholders by policy document writing. And then comes one of the most interesting parts. So let me tell you my own story. Research is something which I myself have, stumbled upon a lot of different things. And finally, in the recent past, I have been able to work on and gain my skills. And that is only because I got a few mentors for research very recently. And I feel that this is a problem that a lot of us face. Uh, Research, I'd say, again, two main important things which I cannot stress on enough is having a good team and having good mentors. Again, this is what we're doing here. Uh, in research, so in the near future, we would be having pan India projects. So these pan India projects would be projects taken up by the national team of research, and individuals from across India could, be the local collaborators and take part in that national study, so that we can produce authentic information. And we have data of our own. A lot of you might have heard that India being a low middle income country, uh, a lot of people from high income countries, I wouldn't name any, but names would pop up in your head, come to our countries, take our data, publish research studies. A study said that almost two-thirds of the researches on LMICs are done by people in high-income countries. So it's time that we take action, we start working on our own data, and we understand the importance of research. So that will be one of the biggest parts of research committee. And the second part would be a mentor team network, wherein again, we'll try to have a team of people from different fields and mentors who are qualified to mentor the team work on projects. And with that, we feel that we would be able to improve the quality of researchers and even the knowledge and experience of the youth in research. So these are the 5 working committees and was a little technical. So now I think the question that you'd ask is, where do you fit in? I am, let's say, I am a civil engineer. Where would I fit in? I am a medical student. Where would I fit in? I am a marine biologist. Where would I fit in? So here, the answer to this question probably goes back to our first 3 slides. I would not like to tell you that, be a member, you'll get a certificate. Those certificates would be added to your CV and would look good on it. That is not the motive. And it shouldn't be the motive either. I'd say the motive would be, are you interested and does it excite you to work with young leaders from different fields, get ideas, opportunities, and information from people in various fields across the country? These are the people you want to surround with. You might have heard the saying that you are an average of the top 5 people you surround yourself with. So the question here is, do you want to surround yourself with people from different fields, knowledgeable people, leaders from different fields, to broaden your perspectives? The second question is, the 10 seconds that we spend to think of those people who are affected by cardiovascular diseases. Would you want to probably, add some more years to their lives? Would you want to add a few more years to several other people like them in the world? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, I think you fit in here. You don't have to have technical knowledge. You don't have to have a medical background. You don't have to have detailed information about any part. If you are passionate about this, if you want to work on this cause, then I'll say first, there are a lot of people here in our team who will help you out through the way. And second, you will learn in the process that no one is perfect. No one, has a complete idea of what it's going to be when they join in. You will learn through the process. I'd say that here we can consider ourselves as a startup. So currently where we are is all of us are doing everything. We do have different roles. We do have a proper structure, but at the same time, we also have limited human resource. We also have, let's say, less expertise in a lot of things. So let's even taking the example of this conference, Heartbeat, I would say, and I'm proud to say that my team learned so much and learned so much from so many different things. And it's not only about the technical aspects, but even about personal growth, human interaction, how you treat externals, how you talk to the team, how you get work done. These are some things which are going to benefit you irrespective of the field that you are in. And I'd just like to say that with these, if these things excite you, then this is the place you should be in. Now, coming to where do we see WYHF in the near future? What are our goals? So these are probably big things that we're saying. We wish to reduce the deaths due to cardiovascular diseases by 30% by 2030. And we wish to mobilize 30,000 young individuals to work towards improving cardiovascular health of the society, again, by 2030. So these are two goals that would be impossible to achieve by an individual. This will be a journey wherein new leaders, young leaders, understand their potential, join in this journey with us, and help in this path. And there are phases. So if we're saying that our goal is to reduce deaths, so is it that we are directly going to go to hospitals and probably add in more health workforce or have a direct impact? I'd say the answer to this is we would go ahead in a phased fashion. So currently what we're working on is capacity building. We're working on awareness. We're working on informing people about the, how grave this problem is and how important it is for the youth in particular to take action on this. Because, if we don't take action, this is the path that we're, heading to. And an interesting fact that in 2015, cardiovascular deaths because of cardiovascular diseases was probably in somewhere in top 10, and recently it is the problem. It is the disease which causes the most deaths in the world. So it is increasing because of lifestyle diseases, because of something which is preventable, which can be prevented if taken action at a very young age, if taken action at probably, let's say, nip it in the bud. We should, it is time that we take action, and slowly with the capacity building phase, we'll go on to the action phase. So once we have youth who is motivated and who is ready to take action, which I'm sure there already is, it's just that the word has to reach out to them, then we would probably be able to start taking action on ground and working on primary prevention. And then slowly and steadily, we'll move on to other areas and improve our scope, increase our scope rather. So with this, I'd just like to end this presentation and let you know that I am probably just the one who is speaking right now, is the one that you're seeing right now, but all this that we've done would not have been possible without these beautiful people, without this wonderful team that we have. And all I'd like to say is that you're more than welcome to be a part of this beautiful collage and take action and work towards improving cardiovascular health of the society. Thank you. And maybe if you guys have any questions, we could answer those questions. Like, is there anything in particular that you guys would want to know more about? Because I have spoken. Yes. I have spoken very little about the technical aspects of it. So, if you guys have any doubts on how you could join or any other questions, we're here. And if there are no doubts, then we could probably conclude our event Heartbeat with this last webinar with Sure. Thank you so much for this question. So how can one become a member? So, and what is included in being a member? So I have, probably spoken about the emotions involved with this federation. I've spoken about what goes in, but focusing on how to become a member, how can you actually be a part of this, is very simple. Going to our website and clicking on get involved and being a member. And there's the link. And what would you have, what would you gain in becoming a member? So in our near future, all the activities that we've mentioned would be restricted to our members. And with those members, we wish to build a niche crowd with which we can target this massive problem. And the members who can become a member is again another question. So anyone under the age of 35 can become a member, and that person can be from any field, as I mentioned earlier. It does not have to be a specific field that you have to work in. You can be from any field, and the membership is a lifetime membership. So once you become a member, you're forever a part of our community. And after the age of 35 years, you would move on to the alumni part, wherein you would not be able to take in any leadership positions, but you can still be involved in each and every activity of the federation. Are there any other questions? For sure, that's again a very good question. I'll just read out the question for everyone. It says, can you elaborate our duties and work as a member? I mean, type of programs that we would be involved in. Again, so once you become a member, you become a member of this federation. Yes, the link has been shared. I'll just share it again. 1 second. There you go. So once you become a member, you can take part in all the 5 working committees. You can take part in all the work which is happening. There are no specific set of duties as a member, but as a member, you're privileged to take part in all the workshops and all the activities that the federation organizes. And you are also included in the community of World Youth Heart Federation, where in the future we would be having several opportunities for our members, which again would be limited to the members. So per se, there are no particular duties for the member unless you're involved in something. So if you become a member, and soon we would be having positions opening. So if you want to work in a particular area and there's a position opening in that area, then you could volunteer for that. You could work for that. If you wish to conduct a research study, then when there would be a call for Pan-India studies, you can sign up as a local coordinator for that study. If you are interested to have your own startup or build your own technology, then you would probably be involved in the team building and mentorship programs of WYHF, where you could learn with the team and take your idea ahead. And finally, if you're interested in advocacy, which I'm sure a lot of people might be, that you actually wish to go out in the field and you want to see the faces of people and you want to touch lives with your own hands. This reminds me of a saying that the most selfish thing to do is to help others. I just leave it at that, and I'll let you guys think more about this. quote, but I'd say I honestly love this quote and it makes a lot of sense. So advocacy is all about that. Are there any positions or leadership opportunities for the existing members so as to contribute more, volunteer, and act in an enhanced manner to and for WHF and its activities? Okay, so currently most of the leadership positions are filled, but after Heartbeat, there are a lot of learnings for our team, and we would be having more openings, let's say in the near future, I would say in the next couple of weeks, couple or 3 weeks, we would be sending out forms where we would be, sending out the positions which are open to the current members to take up and, engage more actively. So yes, there will be position openings in the near future, but currently at this moment there are none. But you will surely hear about them in 2-3 weeks down the line. For sure. If I think if there are any, and this was just a webinar to tell you the emotions attached with this federation and to tell you that it's simply not a student organization or a simple NGO, but it is a community that we're trying to build. It is a community that I think all of us should be proud of being a part of. And you can feel free to reach out to us anytime. If you're members already, then you would be added to our WhatsApp groups, and there are already regional directors or all of us added in those groups. So you can reach out to us at any time for any questions, any suggestions that we can properly implement and take up, and we would be happy to take those forward. So I think there are no more questions. And with that, I would finally like to give a vote of thanks to my wonderful, wonderful team for making this conference a reality in such a short duration of time and making it very successful. We reached out to more than 5,000 people, 5,000 active participants in this conference. We organized 5 workshops, 8 webinars, and also had 4 competitions, which again went amazingly well because of our lovely members and amazing team. So I'd say with that, over and out, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. So if it's okay, then if there are any more. Perfect, sounds good. Thank you so much everyone for being here. Hope all of you have a great evening, and hopefully let's work together soon. So I'll be ending the meeting and just thanking all of you for being here. Very happy.